Loan defaulters are common in the financial world, everywhere, every time. One thing that he can or she can pay the loan back, take the money, but one fine morning they couldn't do it. But loan fraudsters are different. They make fake documents and give it to bank to extract money and just vanish or try to vanish. Now, Reserve Bank of India has come out with a circular saying that banks can talk to these fraudsters and reach a compromise if they are ready to pay some money back. That's scary because banks are being asked to talk to fraudsters, willful fraudsters. Why on earth is RBI doing this? Viran, today we have with us a well-known person in the financial world as writer and activist, Thomas Frank. He has been a trade unionist for a very long time, was the General Secretary of the National Bank Officers Confederation. Welcome, sir. What baffles me is that why RBI is unaware or acts as they are unaware that there is a huge difference between loan defaulters and loan fraudsters.
Fraudsters are real criminals. They come to the bank itself with an intention to cheat. So what they do is they collude with the chartered accountants, the valuers. Nowadays, the bank has given it's some of the main business to the outsourced agency. So a property which is given as collateral will be evaluated by a valuer, and later on a bank official might just go and look at it for a confirmation. Earlier it was not so. We used to have a verification of their personal background. We used to write an opinion report on the borrower. That all has been given up with this liberalization. From the day of formation of the Reserve Bank of India and the Banking Regulation Act was brought in, these willful defaulters and fraudsters were categorized totally differently. They were to be treated legally only, because what they are involved in is criminal activity. So they had to be proceeded with legally, and there was no question of a compromise with them.
I have with me a statistics. It says that in the last 2 years, public-owned banks reported rupees 97 lakh 275 crore frauds in accounts outstanding above rupees 100 crore alone. And for the last 5 years, the similar figure is around 4 lakh crore. Figure is so huge. And still RBI thinks that such fraudsters can be, RBI can have a chat with them and get along with them. Of course, we know that once this starts rolling, the cases charged against them will go in the wind.
See, in this case, now if we see, you have also quoted only the figures above 100 crores. There will be multiple times of this when you look at the loans which have been defrauded, which is less than 100 crores. Even if in the case of loans which is more than 100 crores, if you have not followed the due diligence, what do you expect in the case of a smaller loan? So my expectation is that it will be at least 10 times of this amount if we take the whole amount of fraud. And these fraudsters, if we are going to have a compromise settlement, that is going to create a havoc in the banking industry. This is not a secret. Once you are doing it, when the public comes to know, the honest person will also start thinking, why I should repay the loan when a fraudster is not repaying? If the bank can have a compromise settlement with a fraudster, I have a genuine difficulty. Say an education loan. The person took the loan, he has not got a job, he is not able to repay. So he can ask for a compromise settlement, which the bank does not allow. The bank keeps putting pressure for repayment, and normally what is happening is they are selling these loans, education loans, to the asset reconstruction companies like Reliance Asset Reconstruction Company. 15% is taken from them, and the rest they will start recovering later, and they put extreme pressure, all kind of methods to repay the recollect, get back the loan. But in this case of the fraudsters, see, if we see the big list, these people have their own individual wealth. Say, for example, you take the case of Rishi Agarwal, ABG Shipyard, or Nirav Chokshi, Nirav Modi or Meher Chokshi. These people, Vijay Malaya, Jatin Mehta, they are all living happily abroad. Maybe Rishi is still in the country. And they have their own personal assets within the country and also in other countries. They live in style even now. So why not proceed against them as criminal and seize their property, recover the money? Instead of that, if you say that we'll go for a compromise and collect some small amount and legalize their loot, that is going to affect the banking system. The faith in the system is going to.
What will happen to the cases actually? Because it's a criminal case and the bank is not the actual party. The state is the party in such cases. So once the compromise is arrived, I'm asking this because the RBI circular is silent about that. What will happen to the case? Will RBI, even as witness or as a entity to who should provide documents, they will just abstain from that?
See, though it is a case of the state, the case is filed by the bank which gave the loan. So now once you have given a compromise settlement, on what basis the bank can pursue the case further? They cannot. The police department will also ask, you have already agreed for a compromise, you have closed the loan account. Now what is the use of pursuing the case further? So the case will get closed automatically once a compromise settlement is done.
Another point which I want to ask you about is that the amount is so huge, even for each individual cases. So isn't it financially a wise decision? Why not arrive into a compromise and get as much money as possible rather than dragging in cases in the courts for a very long time? And maybe you will get the amount, you may not get the amount. There are a lot of complications. So financially, isn't it a bit advantageous for the banks to talk to fraudsters?
See, number one, the fraudsters, they will make it an opportunity to pay a small amount. They will bargain for the least amount which bank will be willing to take. And in the case of frauds, you may not have much of assets to fall back. So the bank will have to ultimately agree for a pittance. Should the bank agree for that pittance against a criminal? Somebody has defrauded the bank. Can we go for a settlement with a rapist or a murderer because you are not going to wait for years to get some justice? It is similar to that. This kind of a settlement may fetch a small amount as recovery for the bank. But the damage it will cause in the system, the faith in the system, and the future disbursement of loans, that is going to be huge.
How can you be very sure that it will be a very small amount? Because the pressure is on the defaulter, the fraudster, because he is facing a case and he may go to jail. So the pressure on the fraudster is more than the pressure on a willful defaulter. So what if the bank will get a lot of amount back?
See, we have seen the case of Vijay Malaya. In the Kingfisher case, he defrauded the bank. He has huge properties in the country. Only a small portion of that could be appropriated using the legal means. And he is still living for years in London. Nothing could be done.
Isn't
Take
that
the
because Vijay Mallya is staying abroad beyond the hands of the government and the police, but the persons who are in the country and whom the system has prevented from escaping the country, what if we talk to them for a compromise? And if they don't accept the compromise, they will go to jail. The case of Vijay Mallya would have been different if he was in the country.
I can't say, because within the country also the legal system has all its loopholes. And we have seen in the case of settlements in the National Company Law Tribunal, in the asset reconstruction companies, with the debt recovery tribunals, what is collected back is very little. And now, see, when you are going for a compromise settlement with these persons, why I am saying it will be only a small amount which the bank will get back. A person so far who has managed to live within the country and is fighting the case, he has all ways and means to keep prolonging the case. And ultimately, the banks also do not follow up very seriously. A branch manager will get transferred, another will come, then another will come. And they don't have adequate time, they don't have adequate staff to do this follow-up. So ultimately, the recovery part, once you say that you are ready for a compromise, it is he who will negotiate with you. You will not be able to put a pressure that, no, I will compromise only if you pay this money. He will say that he can even go to the court and say that RBI has issued a circular, they are willing to give a compromise. This is one fellow standing in between the RBI and me, not allowing a proper compromise settlement.
We can't assume that RBI doesn't know this. They know this can happen. It's in any man's guess. So why RBI is adamant on doing this?
RBI very well knows that this is going to affect the banking system. But of late, the RBI seems to be not bothered about the real dangers in the system. We have seen in the case of demonetization. Now we have seen in the case of withdrawal of rupees 2,000 notes. And RBI is wantonly trying to help some criminals. There has to be an ulterior motive. One is that once you allow compromise settlements with this kind of fraudsters who are big, similarly, the willful defaulters also, their number is also quite huge. Number of persons may not be huge, but the amount is huge. So once you go for compromise settlements, normally what happens is that they will support the political party in different ways, maybe but through the electoral bonds, which is an opaque system, or there are hundreds of methods in which they can get support the political party. Probably this is done keeping in view the 2024 election. They want to help these defaulters. Another thing is that there is going to be all
defaulters. Let's call them fraudsters. Fraudsters can't be defaulters, right?
Yeah, they are fraudsters. Now, once you get into this compromise, that will only help one person who will, or one system, that is the political party in power. So that should be the ultimate ulterior motive. This is one side.
There is some Vijay Mallya waiting for an opportunity. He has already talked to the top guys, and this Reserve Bank's circular is a part of that script.
Probably. See, these people, many of them were very close to the corridors of power. Let it be Rishi Agarwal or Jatin Bhatha, Winsome Diamonds guy, who was one of the first person to disappear from the country. His family is married to Adani's family. So now with all these efforts to help Adani, this may be another effort to help some of his colleagues. They all must have aligned together and negotiated with the government and the RBI. Come on, you take care of us, we'll take care of you. That is what is probably happening.
Having said that, the big loans are, of course, the backbone of banking business because it's a huge interest that these loans bring to the bank, and that makes it very profitable. I'm accepting the fact that there are lots of fraudsters, there are a lot of defaulters in the big loans club, but can we do away with them? Because some say that trade unions and activists has a problem with the big loans, but without big loans, how can the bank survive? Do you people have a problem with the big loans?
Absolutely not. See, banking system is huge and it requires to support the big industry also. But equally, it should also support the medium and small industries. It should support the farmers. It should support the traders. But what is happening over a period of time, especially in the last 10 years, is that the share of large borrowers is going up at the cost of the MSMEs and agriculture borrowers and small borrowers. You follow the system. You be strict with handling the large loans. There are a number of ways in which you can monitor the large loans very easily. Don't give it to outsourced agencies to do that monitoring and evaluation. Fix accountability on the officer at the top level. In all these cases, it will be boards. So fix accountability on the managing director, chairman, DMD, the board of directors who are part of the decision making. If they have not followed due diligence, they should be taken into account. They should be charged. The RBI representatives are there in the boards of public sector bank. Finance ministry representatives are there in the boards. Have we come across any case where these people have been taken into task by the system? Nothing has been done. So, per se, the trade unions are not at all against large loans. You give large loans following due diligence and do not give concessions based on political connections. One. Second, the public sector banks especially, they were created for bringing down the inequality and to support a larger section of the society. That was the reason of nationalism. Now, if you are not going to continue to provide adequate credit to MSMEs and the other sectors, now to get an education loan has become so difficult. To get a trader's loan has become so difficult. So, what we are demanding is that you also look at the larger section of the society. Don't look at only 1% of the population, look at the 99%.
We have mudra loans which were especially for the entrepreneurs, low-level entrepreneurs. But it seems that many people have problem with that also because it doesn't care much for not very rigid on documents and security and all. So mudra loan is what fits the bill which you just explained, asked for.
See, mudra loans are for small enterprises, for small entrepreneurs. There are 3 schemes and the maximum loans available is 10 lakhs. We are happy about supporting the enterprise. But what is important is to see that an atmosphere is created for the survival of these enterprises. Now, in the last 9 years, 42 crore people have been given mudra loans. Now, can you identify so many people thriving in new enterprises across the country? 42 crores is a large number. Do you see so many enterprises which are surviving? Secondly, we have seen that these loans are politicized. All India Bank Officers Confederation conducted a demonstration here in Chennai when the political leaders, the ministers were brought to disburse this loan, and local BJP party members were on the stage. We had a demonstration saying that don't politicize. The application forms were distributed in the party offices. Bank managers were asked to go to halls where the BJP flags were put up and loan applications were received. We opposed it, we stopped it in Tamil Nadu. But this continues across the country, especially in the northern states. So now the Mudra loans have become loans which are given as free. They don't call it freebie. But I know of many cases where the political party people tell the borrowers that this is a gift from Modi ji, so you don't have to repay. So my internal information says that a lot of these loans are not getting repaid. Of course, as you said, there is no collateral or anything to fall back. It's very easy to get the loan. But there is a credit guarantee. So the bank can get some amount from the credit guarantee corporation. But they also do not give more than 75%. And they also have strict conditions. In case of an early default, they will not give. So now it has also come in handy if this compromise settlement circular is going to be continued. All these people can also come in for compromise. Why they will come in for compromise settlement? Because now if they are declared as defaulters, their CIBIL score will go down. So it will be difficult for them to get a fresh loan anywhere else. So just come and pay some small amount and close that loan and a compromise proposal. So your CIBIL is cleared. You go to another bank or even the same bank after 1 year and avail a loan. So that way it becomes easy for them. It's totally a political game.
In the civil score for the fraudsters also, it would be a very helpful thing because once they are defaulters and fraudsters declare and facing charges, their civil score will definitely go down. And once this is compromised and settled, the civil score goes up. These fraudsters are again in the market for fresh loans, and maybe another cycle of cheating banks will start rolling, isn't it?
Exactly, that is what will happen.
A very dangerous situation. I don't know why our finance minister and people in the power corridor is not aware of this, but RBI putting it out in a circular is absolutely scared. There's no other word to explain. Let's hope that this tamasha won't go for very long. RBI will realize what they are playing with. Thank you, Mr. Franco. Talk to us.
1 second. This RBI is coming under a lot of suspicion and doubt. Now, a report has come that from the RBI printing press, 88,032 crores of 88,000 crores you see, of fresh currency notes have gone missing. And that is available only after somebody questioned it under an RTI. I had been saying that during demonetization, Chidambaram had said that directly some of these 2,000 rupee notes had gone from the RBI printing press to some individuals. So, why RBI is so careless nowadays, I don't know.
But RBI has just now put out a new press release saying that what you have got from the RTI is not exactly correct. The money is very safe. We know it and we will come out with documents.
Let them come out with documents. But similar things have happened across different countries. Recently, in Nigeria, the central bank governor has been arrested. Earlier, it has happened in Sri Lanka. It has happened in Albania. It has happened in Lebanon. It has happened in Latvia. So, I think it is time that we also have a closer look at what is being done by the Reserve Bank of India, and law should take its own course.
Well, thank you, Mr. Thomas Franco. Thank you, viewers, for watching us.